I was reading a book many years ago about how to write computer languages, and I found it was kind of interesting that to write a computer language you only need 5 statements, including if, and, not, a branch like a goto, and a loop statement like a for, a while, something like that. And I thought it might be fun to try to write a language, so I have started out and I've written the and the not, and I've also written an or, which obviously isn't necessary, but let me show you my not statement. Here is the not statement, and a not statement has 2 different things. One of them is a logical not, and the other is a numeric not, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So we're going to have 2 different types. The format is something like my not and then of a, so whatever a is, it's going to do the inverse of it. So if it's false, it's going to be true. If it's true, it's going to be false. If it's minus 3, it's going to become plus 3, something like that. It's cheating to use a predefined not statement like the Python not statement. You can't do that. The truth table here is if you have a 0, you get a 1. If you have a 1, you get a 0. If you have a false, you get a true. If you get a true, you get a false. Okay? So like that. And then the numeric is, again, if you have like a minus 3 or minus 1, you end up with a positive version of that. Okay? So here are my 2 definitions for the functions, and I can take these out, I can put them in a file, and then I can call them as a library and use them just like a not statement in the regular Python programming language, something like that. Okay, so let's go down a little bit more, and down here is the program I'm going to use to test these functions. So the first 2 we're going to use to test the digital version, the binary version if you will, and we're going to run from 0 to 2 to make sure that it does what it's supposed to. It will turn 0 should return, instead of being false, it should return a true, and a 1, which is true, it should return a false. And then down here we're going to actually use the statements false and true, and we're going to see if it returns the opposite of those. And then finally down here we're going to run it and see if it returns the positive of a negative and a negative of a positive. Okay, simple enough. And here we go. 0 returns true, that's good. 1 returns false, yes. This is a false, it returns true. A true returns a false. Minus 3 returns a 3. Minus 2 returns a 2, etc., etc. 0, 0. 1 returns a minus 1. So yes, those 2 functions work. So if you are writing your own programming language and you need a not function, this is one way to do it. Okay, well I hope you found it useful and interesting in your Python programming, and perhaps you'll write your own computer language.